The Iran war, Operation Epic Fury Roaring Lion, has intensified. And Donald Trump is weighing his options because Donald Trump wants a couple different things, and some of them are kind of juxtapositions. They don't quite go well hand in hand because Donald Trump wants a clear military victory. He wants the Strait of Hormuz closed. He wants the nuclear materials, and he wants out. He's committed to not having a major ground war. Yet you can't have all these things. It's like wishing in one hand and wanting in another. You know, I mean, you just can't. It's difficult. What he wants to do is illustrated by the different things he's saying. He's said a lot of different statements that paint a wide range of latitude in what he's looking for. For example, he is talking about and apparently weighing the options for putting up to 10,000 troops on the ground in a special operation to seize the uranium, the enriched uranium that Iran has. Now, in addition to that, he is looking at maybe seizing some islands to take control over parts of the Strait of Hormuz to try to enable passage of traffic through the strait. They're also looking at an international coalition to take charge of that. And Trump is also talking about, well, hey, I just may leave and with the Strait of Hormuz closed, not do anything to close it. So he's looking at so many options. He's saying so many things. He said, well, I may take cargo and I might not. You know, the fact that he even talked about it kind of, has the hackles up in Iran for defending Carg Island, putting booby traps on it, and they're intensifying their efforts there to stop an invasion, of course. So there are so many things in the discussion space right now. The fog of war is very thick, but what we do know is Iran has oversaturated our defenses. Iran has taken out, we've had 4 THAAD missile batteries there, and the radar systems on those THAAD missile batteries has been apparently taken out. They've been eliminated. Iran has struck over 103 U.S. military installations in the area to various degrees of seriousness. We know they've taken out one of our E-3 eye in the sky AWACS airplanes on the Boeing E-3s. So they have done a fair bit of damage. It's said that some of our bases are under such a state of attack that the soldiers aren't even operating there. They're operating out of hotel rooms. And one sergeant says, well, we really can't do a lot with our operations when if we have to put all our heavy equipment on some hotel roof. That don't work. So you can see the war is intense. The United States and Israel is still striking Iran really hard. And Trump is also threatening, well, if you don't open the Strait of Hormuz, that I am going to take out your oil facilities, your energy facilities. That threat is still out there. So he's still making the threats. He's negotiating an international coalition to take over the strait. He's threatening to just walk out of there with the thing being closed. That's the problem because Iran is making drones still. They've got thousands of these Shahed drones. And it turns out that Russia's actually supplying their value added. They basically take the Shahed drones they got from Iran, they soup them up a little bit, and they're sending those back to Iran. And not to mention that the Russians also apparently were involved in the intel for some of the strikes that the Iranians made against the United States, to include the attack toward Diego Garcia Air Base down the Indian Ocean. On top of that, it is now coming out that North Koreans are supplying or have supplied materials to Iran for their missiles, and the same goes to China. So we can see a lot involved in this war right now. Of course, if you look at it from the Russian standpoint, we supplied munitions and weapon systems to, including the ATACMS missiles, Patriot missiles, to Ukraine. So you can see this war is kind of spreading out now, and talk about it spreading now. The Houthis took 2 strikes toward Israel and are looking at shutting down that strait that controls the Red Sea, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. So they are looking at shutting that down. And if they do, that's going to intensify the economic impacts of the war, and that may actually blow back against Iran because that might get Europe involved. Europe's been trying to stay out of it, but Europe, well, pardon me, Europe will be very adversely hit by any closure of the route through the Red Sea and the Suez Canal. They get so much of their trade through there. Europe's very dependent on that. Not to mention that there has been another missile strike that NATO's had to defend aimed toward Turkey. So this stuff could broaden. It could get bigger. It could get wider. It could get more intense. These options that Trump is looking into for taking, he wants to do two things. He wants the nuclear materials out of Iran, or perhaps to bury them in such a way that Iran would have a hard time getting to them. And two, he wants the Strait of Hormuz open. But how bad does he really want to know? Because the other pressure on Trump is to get the heck out, because the Republican Party is divided over this whole war and stands to lose substantially in the midterms, which could actually cost Trump his presidency. It could cost J.D. Vance's vice presidency, and even put the Speaker of the House. Somebody said, well, the Speaker of the House is not a Democrat. We're talking about the Democrats having a landslide or taking over control of the House. If that happens, they could put the Speaker of the House, a Democrat, in the presidency, and that would turn the whole country upside down. So a lot of things are at stake here, and Trump has got some really hard decisions to make, and he's got to make them pretty darn quick. The Trump administration is talking about this war going on for a couple more months. Other analysts suggest, no, you can't just do all this in 2 months. It'll probably be more like 3 months. So there is a lot at stake, very high stakes. The whole region can go up in flames. We've got Iran talking about taking out the desalination plants throughout the Gulf Coast region there, the GCC, all the countries around the Persian Gulf Coast, which would be a humanitarian disaster beyond compare. You'd have over 40 million people without water in an area that is extremely hot, and the roads and means to get out of there is exceedingly difficult. It would be a humanitarian crisis, but we're talking about taking out desalination plants in Iran. Iran's already got a water crisis. We're talking about hitting their energy systems. So there's so much at play. Why? There's a lot of talk about Kharg Island. Why Kharg Island? Because Kharg Island is the island that 90% of Iran's oil goes through. If you took Kharg Island or destroyed it, Trump's talked about both, it would. If you destroy it, that means there's no oil revenues for Iran, to include the civilian population. If you take it, you got leverage on them to maybe get them to open up the Strait of Hormuz, but that's quite a military operation. Now, whether you're taking Kharg Island or the other islands, and there's another island in the Gulf there. I'm going to show you some stuff here in a little bit. There's a big island there in the Gulf that's right next to the Strait of Hormuz. It's Kazim. Oh shoot, what's the name of that island? Anyway, it's about as big as Sand Mountain, where I grew up, something like 80 miles long, 25 miles in diameter, not width, not diameter. And it's believed that there's thousands of missiles stored on that island, deep in tunnels. So some of those tunnels are thought to be 1,600 foot deep in granite. You don't take those out with any bunker buster bomb we've got. It would take some serious, like, serial nukes hitting it, or troops to go in and flush out the people in the tunnels. Just kind of like we did with the Japanese in World War II. And we've got some experience with that back in the Vietnam War too, where we sent troops into tunnels with flamethrowers. Yeah, you could pour stuff in tunnels and get people out probably through the air vents, gasoline, or God knows what nasty stuff you could pour down the air vents and flush people out. There's different ways to deal with that. And so who knows how that's going to play out. The 82nd Airborne has a couple thousand troops in the area. The 31st Marine Excursion Unit is in place. The Tripoli is ready to go, the USS Tripoli. The USS Boxer is still on its way. It will probably be another week or two before we can get there. 82nd Airborne troops could still, and 82nd Airborne still got a lot more troops they could send. They could send units from the 101st and other Ranger units across the Army. If they want to have special, it would take special operations forces. If they're going to go for the nuclear material, I mentioned this before. Now articles are coming out talking about what I was talking about. They'd have to set out a defensive perimeter, and they have to do this while probably under fire, under attack. They'd have to set up a defensive perimeter. They would have to either do this where there's airfield or build an airfield and to evacuate the stuff that they're going to get out. Then they would have to have digging equipment. Then you got to go in with kid gloves to handle very fragile, extremely toxic centrifuge cylinders filled with uranium hexafluoride, which is a gas. That's where that 60% enriched uranium is. And it's extremely toxic. Not only, even if it didn't have the uranium, which is going to be very radioactive at 60% enrichment, that uranium hexafluoride is exceedingly caustic and toxic. It's very deadly. And as a gas, it can get around. You puncture one of those tubes, you're in bad shape. So, and so you got to do all that and handle these things with fragile kid gloves while you're trying to evacuate it with heavy equipment under fire. Yeah, we're expected we'll lose a lot of people in an operation like that, lose a lot of people. And the other side of it is Iran still has a lot of uranium ore. This is not a complete solution. It might knock Iran back 20 years if you can take the uranium, but they could start all over again, take ore they got and enrich it, maybe trade oil with South Korea to get nukes. There's a lot of things that could happen in terms of how all this could go down in the long term. The best solution would be if we could get, of course, a friendly government there. And the only way we're going to do that is to support the protesters. And about the only way to get the protesters to succeed realistically is to arm them. But to arm them would be probably a vial. If we give them small arms rifles, it would probably, since they're not an American or classified as a friendly country, that would probably violate our Arms Export Act, which was in effect, I think, 2003, the latest version of that. So, and if you look at the numbers, though, I mean, that would be preferably the way to go. I hope that they make some breakthrough and just do that, like airdrop them. I mean, if the Israelis can go in and airdrop, and work with the locals, where the locals can call in basically an airstrike on the Basij forces, the RGC, then you should be able to verify who they are and where they're at and airdrop in weapons to them. And I think that would be the preferable way to go, because there's, tens of millions of protesters. The numbers of the active duty IRGC is about 190,000. The Basij forces are about 600,000. So, they are a substantial force, but there's millions of protesters. And the protesters, if properly armed and then supported with air power, air cover, including the ability to call in strikes, then they might actually get an upper hand. That's the only way we're probably going to get a friendly government. Of course, what protesters are we talking about? We're talking about the protesters that protested against the regime there, that were mowed down by the IRGC, Basij's forces, probably about 30,000 of them pushing daisies now as a result of that. There are a lot of people in Iran who don't want the regime that's there to be in power. They were cheering when we first started attacking because they thought that meant that they would get the upper hand. But there's no clear path to that right now, and there's no talk of any plans to get them there. So this is probably the biggest issue. I mean, Trump is probably not going to lean too hard in on regime change. He's somewhat hamstrung by some of the laws. Maybe they could find a loophole or a way around that. I don't know. But there's just a lot at stake here. There is many things to be taken into consideration for that. Other thing is the Kurds. The Kurds really want to go in and assert their independence. That would now the government that would be set up by Reza Pahlavi, the crown prince supposedly of Iran, who's living in exile here in the United States. He wouldn't like giving up part of the Iranian territory. It's thought it might turn some of the Iranian citizens against us. But you know what? People have a right of self-determination. If their only road to victory is to cooperate with the Kurds, they ought to do it. And not to do that is stupid. And by the way, I do believe people should have the right of self-determination. Now, of course, other countries like Syria and Iraq, they wouldn't be happy with that, but Iraq's not been a good ally of ours. Turkey would be they would be extremely mad if the Kurds got an independent state anywhere, and they'd be mad at us if we insisted it. But you know what? The Kurds really, nobody has a right to rule somebody else. And that's what they're doing with the Kurds in their territory. So I would say to heck with it. Let the Kurds go. The Kurds probably cannot overthrow the RGC by themselves. But if they were working in concert with the internal protesters, it could happen. It could be the road to having a more friendly government in the area. Will the United States wake up to do that? Probably not. Well, can the protesters actually succeed in overthrowing the government? Most likely not, but it could. It could happen. If they did, I would be celebrating big time. That would solve a lot of problems, and that would give them the independence that they deserve to have. But it's a big step. There would be a lot of risk for the United States to go down that road. But I think it would be a lot of them are in prison. That's right. And they've also went in and banged up a lot of those in prison. I mean, with bang bangs, if you know what I mean. Even in hospitals. Some of them were in hospitals after the protest. And they went in and terminated them. So I got a battery issue problem here. I may have to switch microphones and go back to my camera mic in a little bit. But anyway, guys, so we'll see if my batteries last here. So here's the thing. If we're going to forcibly free the Strait of Hormuz, it could be done with a Marine Expeditionary Units using their extended advanced base operations concept, EAB, whatever it was. I talked about it back last week, I believe, where it's the 35th Marine Expeditionary Unit would be the best one with the USS Tripoli to get that started because they got the right kind of air power mix to take some of those islands. And it would be not going for Karg Island at first because that's a big island. It'd be better off going for some of the more strategic islands in the Strait of Hormuz, like Abu Musa and Lesser and Greater, TONB, Tom, however you pronounce that. And then there's couple other big islands. There's that other big one I mentioned, Kasem, whatever it is. It's the big one. It's got the facilities deep in. Now, the Marine Expeditionary Unit is not going to do that on their own. They might do that in concert with the 82nd Airborne, but they need to take those before they go up to Karg, I would think. But that would give you some air cover right there in the middle of the Strait of Hormuz. They could have their helicopters and their F-35s there on the USS Tripoli. They could actually put a base on land and operate them off land, off those islands. And it would make it a lot easier to take out a lot of those drones because a lot of those drones can be taken out by direct weapons fire from these F-35s and helicopters. If you can combine, that's not enough by itself. We're running out a lot of the high-tech, high-end missile interceptors, but those are not economical to use against those drones anyway. It's best to save them for the missiles if you got any left. Now, the other thing we may not have enough left. That's the other thing. We have been, the Iranians have hit us with saturation strikes of so many missiles. It's depleting our stuff. But the worst thing is they've taken out a lot of our ground systems, like sensors, like our radars. So there's a call for using space-based sensors to augment that going forward. So there's just a lot of things in play here. If you're really going to take and secure it, you'd want those islands, but then just because of so many of these drones, you would probably have to take a strip of land around the Persian Gulf in Iran. But Iran is threatening, I should have said this early on, Iran is threatening to invade. Iran is threatening to invade Bahrain and United Arab Emirates. I kid you not. I don't think they can pull it off. I'm going to show you why in a little bit. But they are saying, you put boots on the ground here. We're going to invade these countries. Now, even though they've got, the RGC's 190,000, they got a bigger army than that. they've got their Bajis paramilitary, but they actually have a regular army. RGC is not the regular army. I still think that would be almost impossible for them to do. But I won't say it won't happen, but I just don't see it personally. I'll show you why in a minute. But there's a lot of things in the air right now, including drones and missiles and planes. Yeah, literally and figuratively. This is we don't know how this is going to play out yet. I'll be honest. Now, I still think that it's most likely what I said when I did my video at the end of the war. That's probably what's going to happen. That we will pommel the heck out of them, and the IRGC and the Ayatollah regime, the Islamic Republic, will survive in some fashion and eventually come back up out of the rubble and try to reestablish everything they had before and go farther and do it with a big axe to grind for revenge. So it would be years down the road, probably, depending on how hard they get pommeled into the ground, if we get the nuclear materials or not. Now, there's some talks of peace treaties being negotiated, and Iran denies it, but it turns out Trump is negotiating apparently with the Speaker of the Parliament in Iran. If they would give up their nuclear materials and open the Gulf, that would be all Trump really wants. I mean, he's got 15-point peace plan, blah, 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 blah. But if they just do that, or even give up the nuclear materials, or one or the other, I mean, he would probably go for it. He wants out because this war is at risk of costing the Republican Party everything. So he does want out. But he's also eyeing Cuba right now. So he's got other things in mind that he would like to go after. So there is a lot going on here, guys. I mean, this is the story of what's happening in Iran is not going to be over anytime soon. And the what's going on with Iran, Russia, China, this is going to be an ongoing story for a long time, unless something very significantly wonderful breaks, like the protesters taking over Iran. That would be a game changer. That would be a huge game changer. But anyway, so I am going to do this. I'm going to go show you guys a bunch of articles here, and hopefully my batteries are going to last. I'm looking at my battery power up here on my phone. When I'm using the camera without these DJI mics, I got like infinite battery because I got something in the wall circuit. These with a connector through does not get power that way. So, and I've already done a couple of videos today and had a meeting through Zoom, so it's eating my battery up real fast. Anyway, I think I can make it if I just get really efficient here really quick. I got to get up early in the morning anyway, so bear with me, and I'm going to go through these articles, then we will go through the chat room, and then I may have to go through it fast tonight, then we'll do our egg guess at the end as we normally do. And if you can't hear me, tell me. I do have a backup mic that may have more juice in it than this one, but the device on the camera, the receiver, is also limited. But I think the mic is my top limited thing, so I may have another option here. Anyway, we'll just play with it and see what happens. Hope I don't lose sound. If I lose sound, start screaming at me in the chat room. Alrighty, guys. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go into the share screen. Give me a second. Ding, 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 ding. And we're going to do this. First thing off, we're going to talk about something you can do to help me and help you too. I've done some videos, and I'll do some more talking about product contamination, all the bad chemicals and heavy metals that's in the consumer products you use every day. I did a video talking about heavy metals. Yeah, it sounds good now, but if my battery dies, I'm going to have to do something. All right, so the heavy metals in toothpaste, like 90% of the brands. I've talked about stuff in your dish detergent and other products that is just loaded, chock full of chemicals. So bear in mind, guys, this is across the board. You find this in just about everything you're getting out of the store. When you go to Wally World, big box stores, that's junk you're getting. And the reason for it is you got 12 big conglomerate corporations that own over 550 different brands, and they've taken these brands, and once they might have had, they substituted the original ingredients. What they used to have in them is not what they got in them anymore, because they're trying to make things on the cheap, and they want it to last long on the shelf. and they give it artificial colors and artificial flavors just to entice you to eat their nasty stuff. And they found out it's cheaper to pay, settle out of court and pay lawsuits than it is to provide you good products, because they do it at such scale. It's such scale that they still come out ahead. So they don't care. They're not concerned about you and your health. Yeah, go watch my videos on that. I'm going to do some more. Even though nobody wants to watch them much, you need to see that, my friends. So you get some companies there you thought was good. The Sani, Pedigree. Oh, Perrier water is full of junk. Oh my gosh. Everybody thought Perrier water was great. It's just so many things that everybody thought was good, clean, wholesome products. Hey, we got a super chat tonight. Thank you, Shaggy. Salute you. First super chat for this session. Appreciate that. Anyway, let's keep our language clean in here. Let's use only family-oriented language, a family-oriented channel here. So, Barks. Hey, I love Barks root beer. Holy guacamole. All this. Thank you, Shaggy. All this stuff, Gillette, just the stuff you put on your skin. Your skin, you soak this stuff up. Hey, Ritz crackers. Oh, my gosh. Dove soap. It's supposed to be the pure soap, right? Yeah, just all kind of products for my friends. All kind of Cheerios. You thought I thought Cheerios was the thing. I gave my kids Cheerios. I thought it was the best thing I could give them when they were kids. Now I know better. Holy guacamole. So I kid you not, this is stuff that you need to get away from. And when you buy that stuff, when you make a purchase, that's an economic vote. Milton Friedman taught us this in his book, Free to Choose. And those companies are also have controlling interest in them by these big asset management companies, principally BlackRock. And the man who founded and runs BlackRock's the same guy who took over from Klaus Schwab, Schlauber as I call him, at that organization, the Economic Forum of the World. I'm kind of twisting the words a little bit. The ones who told you will own nothing, you will have no privacy, but you'll be happy. Yeah, right. Yeah, and you'll be eating the bugs while they fly around in their private jets and eat caviar all over the world. You see that and living in your 15-minute cities, riding their tricycles. If that's what you want to support, if you want to support them and their agenda, keep buying the junk you're buying. But if you want to go for your health and freedom, I would highly encourage you to consider going to the solution I've brought you here is to go to switchwithgreg.com. I set this website up myself, and what it does is it enables me to get your information and get my friend Lisa, who's in our community, to let you know how to sign up for this program we got here, which is from a family-owned manufacturer. It's a family-owned company, not a big conglomerate. Everything is made here in the good old U.S. of A., so supporting American jobs, and it's all non-toxic. They don't have all those chemicals and heavy metals in it. They test it sensitive for product safety, consumers' safety, and even the best cleaners I got are all plant-based. So that's the good news there. So you go to switchwithgreg.com. I'll put a link after I post a video. Switchwithgreg.com and get away from supporting the House of Klaus and all those toxic products. Anyway, enough said for that. Yeah, so we lost one of these E3 Boeing eye in the sky AWACS radar planes. Those things also serve as airborne command centers. So that's also hitting our command and control. So it's more than just, well, yeah, you can get some good stuff at the Amish market, but you're not going to ever all that stuff. So if you, anyway, so this is a AWACS plane that got taken out when they struck the Sultan Air Force Base, in Saudi Arabia, Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. We had a lot of damage from that strike, like I said. And some of our guys, oh, what in the devil? Quit that. I hate these ads. And Iran has issued directives to counter potential ground operations. That's quite a bazooka there. And one of the things they're talking about is invading. That right there is United Arab Emirates. They're talking about invading the United Arab Emirates. They're talking about invading Bahrain. This is Bahrain. See that little thumb sticking up there in the middle of the Gulf Persian Gulf there. Well, the thing about that is why I say I don't think it's too likely. I'm going to zoom in on that. I don't want to get any bigger. I don't know why they do maps like this in Wikipedia. Oh, there we go. Got a little bit bigger there. Is it's surrounded by water. They got to cross water to invade it. And that means they're wide open, which that means that they're probably going to get shot up. So I don't see how they could stage an invasion personally of either of these countries, but that's what they're claiming they're going to do. Personally, I don't see it. I don't think it's viable. But we've also got a Navy commander in Iran saying, well, they got missiles that could hit and strike our USS Abraham Lincoln. And we know they've now got missiles that can go as far as Diego Garcia. So if they got one and reach that far with a big enough payload, that's definitely possible. We do know that China was going to supply Iran with their aircraft carrier killer missiles. We don't know if they got in or not. The thinking was that we started the war just before they got those missiles, which may be part of why it was started when it was started. But he could be blowing smoke too. But then again, maybe it's got some. You got to do more than just aim a missile at it. You got to be able to track that aircraft carrier and hit it. And they still do. And you probably got to throw a lot of things. So we probably still have a lot of SM-3 missiles, or at least some on those aircraft carriers to protect them. So they would have to throw a barrage of stuff at it in order to take it out. And they would have to have their aiming down good. A lot of the ships they've been hitting. Oh, yeah, they hit a Donald Trump, was bragging about how Iran let a few ships through the Strait of Hormuz as a gift, and how they were negotiating peace. And they turned around and struck a Kuwaiti oil tanker in port in Kuwait. But most of the ships they've struck have been in port, not mobile. So they're heavy duty stuff. So I don't know, if what their capabilities are to strike a mobile aircraft carrier at sea. Now the drones might, something that they got control over. They do have supposedly the best weapons that they haven't even used yet. So maybe some of those hypersonic glide vehicles they've got might go after it. I gotta watch my batteries here. So I don't know, guys, if they can really do this, but this is what they're claiming they're going to do. Will they be able to pull it off? We don't know yet. We don't know. So this is Rear Admiral Shahram Irani. He's making this claim that he's their Navy's sunk. They don't have a Navy in the water. But, all your Navy, even in the United States, all our Navy is not in the water. We have bases on ground, too. So it might be something that they could do. We'll have to. Let's hope we don't find out. Let's hope we never find that out, because an aircraft carrier's got thousands of Americans on it. It'd be a horrific thing. And the United States, the Navy would probably want to go to nuke war if they lost an aircraft carrier. They would go frantically nuts over that. And again, as I said, the Houthis are after this Bab el-Mandeb Strait, and there's a good chance they're going to close that. If they do, the impact's going to be, he's already firing at Israel, so officially they're in the war. The war has gotten bigger. The only reason I can give money is because the game I play pays me. Well, thank you, Shaggy. Appreciate you. So Donald Trump lays the ground for the end of the war without reopening the Strait, risking fuel chaos for the Britons. Now, this may be in part how he's trying to force them to get involved in keeping the Strait open. This may be a negotiating point for him, because he said, I'll just walk away from it. We'll beat the Iranians down as much as we can. We've delayed them 10 years and been able to do anything. So we can declare victory and just walk off. And that it may be an option he's looking at. He's got to get out of there at some point in time. Like I said, the risk the entire Republican Party getting deep sixed over this. So he's going to have to do something. He's got a lot of constraints on him. So he might actually execute that. But I think he's more putting that out there just to force the hands of other countries into joining this coalition. But the coalition they're talking about, it's really a coalition of Muslim states. It's not European countries. So maybe he's trying to get the European countries to join in on it. I don't know. that whole thing. If the Houthis block that Bab el Bab el Albab, Bab el Mandeb Strait. Somehow I get problems. That's too many words. Bab el Mandeb Strait. That's what it goes. If they block that, then like I said, it's a possibility that Europe will chime in at that point because this is going to be a direct impact on them, a big one. So, and the war is going pretty hard right now on both sides. Heavy strikes on the Isfahan is triggered this big column of fire. That's the town next to one of their nuclear processing places where it's thought by many sources that some of that uranium is stashed. A lot of the sources now believe that at Isfahan and maybe a little bit in the Tans and some in the Pickaxe facility. Fordo has been pretty thoroughly destroyed, but we saw trucks there moving stuff out of Fordo. And my wager would be it's mostly in Pickaxe, but they probably did spread it out and spread it around. So waves of airstrikes hit Tyrannus. Thousands of U.S. Marines arriving immediately. So, yeah, they're being struck hard by both the Israelis and the United States. A few days ago, the United States surpassed 10,000 targets hit in Iran. That's a lot. Even though we've had 103 bases hit to some degree, the Iran has taken it a lot harder than we have. But then again, they got a lot more reserve. They can weather it a lot more than we can because here's their strategy. It's called mosaic defense. I mentioned this. Iran has a decentralized resilience factor where they have given every province in Iran has an RGC commander, and they're all told to operate independently should the central government fail to keep fighting the war. That makes it far more difficult to fight the war when they've got an arrangement like that. How do you get them to surrender? Some people say they will never surrender, and that's a good chance. It's a good chance that they will not surrender at all. So they're there. Their whole strategy is to try to survive and outlast the United States. Now, if their power grid is taken out, their water is taken out, they may wither. And maybe at some point could even be taken out by the locals protesters. But when the local protesters aren't armed, having the superior numbers against the armed IRGC with their Beishis forces, that just isn't going to work. I mean, something breaks in that regard. That's why I said they ought to just be armed. Let's see here. I'm freezing up. Nope, not yet. So again, inside Iran's military missiles, militias, for a force built for survival, and that's their whole approach. Is they got so many of these things, they do plan to weather out a double army built to protect the regime. The heart of Iran's military system's deliberate dual structure of conventional army plus the RGC. It's two different forces, guys. So, and then they got the paramilitary Basij forces, which are really for internal security. Now, the one thing that might break Iran is that most of their, kind of like China, most of their military is focused on their own people. Most of the security forces is focused on not keeping somebody from invading, but keeping an uprising from happening. That tells you how wonderful the regime is. Now, it's also, I did hear, I've talked about him sometimes. Oh shoot, I'm getting brain lock. I mention him all the time. Now I'm getting brain lock. Holy smoke. Now he's a geopolitical analyst that I've mentioned so much on here. Oh my gosh, what is that guy's name? It'll come to me later. I don't know if I'm getting brain lock right now. I've mentioned several times. There's this geopolitical analyst with a big channel. He's sought after. He's not a YouTuber, but he does YouTube. He's sought after the world for his expertise as a geopolitical analyst. I've shot him down a number of times on some things, but I've used some of his points on other things. He is a smart guy. I don't agree with everything he says, but he says that his thought of the only way to bring down the RGC is that the younger members of the RGC really don't have any money. The RGC does maintain its force by virtue that they've owned 30 to 50% of all businesses and commerce in Iran. and they are self-funding. They fund themselves, and the self-funding it keeps them going. But apparently, the old guys in the IRGC, the ones that's got all the money and got all this stuff, the younger guys don't have it. So if the economy gets real bad, if you get knocked down real hard, it's thought that the younger IRGC members may revolt against the older ones. But given the religious nature of the country, I don't think that's very likely to happen. So I'm not big on that mindset. Um, Man, that guy's name is on the bird show. I don't know why I'm not pulling it out right now. It'll come to me later. Probably after in the minute I end the video. I go, oh yeah. You know how that goes. Anyway, so this is talking about some of Trump's options here. As missile strikes fall to break the Iran's, the president weighs high-stake gamble to take the war from the air to the ground, boots on the ground. I still think I have pictures in this one. That's that big island I'm talking about here, the Kazum, whatever. It's like a big fish. That's the one that's got the tunnels that are like 16 foot under the rock. It's a mountainous island. It's a big one. Let's see here. I think there's another map in here. Yeah, there it is. This is the island I'm talking about. I don't know how you pronounce that. Cusham Island. I don't know, like a big fish. It's a big island. Now, it's got 576 square miles, population of 180,000, and you bet it's booby-trapped to the hilt. And here's the other islands I'm talking about them taking. Abu Musa and the Greater Thumbs and Lesser Thumbs. I've been talking about those for weeks on here before we probably ever heard anybody else mention them. There's Karg Island. They may take that one. It's got a big airstrip on it. This island would be, it's probably booby-trapped the hilt. They destroyed, Trump said he destroyed all the military facilities, but he did not destroy the petroleum facilities on this island. He's threatened to do that if he can't take it, maybe. But that is, yeah, here we are. This is a coastal map around the Strait of Hormuz, which suggests area that U.S. forces may have to take to inhibit drone strikes. Why? So they can't launch a drone or a little fast boat directly from the shore. It would give more flight time for it to have to make before it come over, which give you a better idea that it's coming, so that you could target it, so that you can get forces up to take them out. If they're launching them straight from the coast, you don't have that luxury. They can be on you faster than a chicken on a grasshopper or a chicken on a June bug. If you come from my neck of the woods, you've heard that expression, at least if you're my age. I don't know. Faster than a chicken on a June bug. That's pretty fast, guys. So they're looking at taking this strip here. And that strip is 3,220 square miles with a population of 1 million. Now, how big a force would it take to take that? That's not the whole country. This is just a little slice of the country around the Strait of Hormuz. This would take a major invasion force just to take and hold that. Major force. And it'd have to land amphibiously, so it'd be led by the Marines. Army could paratroop in onto the land. So, yeah, it's something. I haven't seen a lot of Salenti. No, it's not Salenti. It's not Salenti. Yeah, not him. Yeah, he's an economist more. Yeah, Salenti's fun to listen to. He gets animated. Peter Zion. Peter Zion's the guy was trying to think of. Peter Zion's his name. Oh, it did not come to me. I mentioned it, man, many times. I've even mentioned him on my space channel, Galactic Gregs. So I've talked about Peter Zion several times. I think we even did a little snip video, a little AI video of him on one of my Galactic Gregs videos. Peter Zion. So that's who I was trying to think of. He's the one that said that if you can get the younger members, the IRGC, to revolt, then the IRGC would be done. He admitted there's a slim chance, but I think it's probably slimmer than what he's saying. And I don't discount if somebody could find a way to arm the protesters, and that might befall the Kurds. Maybe the Kurds could do it, but somebody would have. But then the Kurds would have to go, and Trump asked them not to, because he don't have to deal with blowback from Turkey. I'd take the blowback from Turkey, because that's if you could work together and get arms in the hands of the protesters, that would change everything. That is, if the protesters also have air support. they would have to have air support too. They'd still get wiped out because they're not a trained, mobilized force, even though they may be tens of millions. But I don't know, tens of millions, they might overwhelm the other side. So there you are. That's my battery. Oh, I'm getting red on the battery on the mic. I may have to switch here in a minute. I can do that. In a minute, I may do that. In fact, let's see if this works, guys. I'm going to try to change mics. The receiver looks like it's still good. Hang on. I can hear me twice or not. All right. Oh, no, that ain't doing me no good. That ain't doing me no good. That's low battery too. What? I didn't use that one. Oh, it may be the receiver is bad, not the mic. Uh-oh. It's the receiver. Uh-oh, we're in red. I have to take this out, guys. Can y'all hear me right now, 5x5? Where time is limited. I'm gonna have to rush this. So battery is it. Strait Hormuz to be run by multinational coalition under the new White House plan. I don't know if they've all agreed to it, but this is, oh, I gotta subscribe. This is all, I've read this article in another place where I don't have to subscribe to all this stuff. But what they're talking about there is basically Muslim countries. It's Saudi Arabia, Turkey's in that one. So Turkey may not participate in that if we support the Kurds. You see, and Turkey's got a huge military, very big military. Kurdish ground forces prepping to fight in Iran. They want to go because they want independence. They want it bad. This is the best chance they've ever had to have an independent home state of their own. So, and hey, this article says move over F-35, the A-10 Warthog, the Punisher can't, Iran can't seem to beat. This is one plane. This old airplane from the Vietnam era is kicking A over there and taking names later. It is taking out those fast boats. It can shoot down drones. It's a very capable platform, especially for close air troop support. The thing can almost hover. And, the Air Force wanted to get rid of this program so many times. As a soldier, I wasn't talking about Ritter, not Scott Ritter. I was talking about Peter Zion. Scott Ritter, I don't know. That guy's got an agenda, and he's also been charged with child molestation or something crazy. He used to be really brilliant, but he's kind of got a burr up his butt now. So I don't know what to think about Scott Ritter anymore. But Peter Zion, he's got a little bit of a political slant. I don't agree with everything he says, but he is a lot smarter than those other guys. I'll give him some credit. He is a smart guy. Trump is already plotting another military operation, and yeah. Well, this is in Iran. He's also talking about taking Cuba. Some of these articles are coming up. And of course, Iranian president says they're in full-fledged war with U.S., Israel, and Europe. Knock, knock, Europe, wake up. The Iranian president says he's in war with you. And they've already shot about 3 missiles your way. NATO's intercepted them, but it may be a question of time. Now, here's what's really near and dear to me is the sleeper cells. Iranian sleeper cells pose growing threat to U.S. after being triggered a little over a week ago. So is this article going to scroll or not? Here we go. My little keypad don't work so well. And tensions rising. Well, it's doing crazy stuff. The West. Well, I'm going to share some. We talked about these sleeper cells. I'm not going to go through this article, but this is, oh, look at that. That is one of the Saturn V's down in, before they put the building around it. That's an old photograph down in Houston. That's one in Houston, I believe. But anyway, all that aside, I get distracted like a dog chasing a squirrel, especially if I see some space stuff. Anyway, yeah, I've seen that when it was laying out like it before they put it in the building. Anyway, the U.S. has reportedly intercepted encrypted communications. I've talked about this before to activate sleeper cells, but we got a new wrinkle in all this. We got a new wrinkle. All right, it's going to be a minute before we get the new wrinkle. Terror group invades America, Pentagon insiders warn sleeper cells in every state more deadly than ISIS. Now, this is a particular organization they're talking about here. They said this in every state, and it's apparently a new outfit. It is, and this is coming to us from Army Major General Paul Vallely. And I hope this thing will scroll. Come on. So let's see here. Hang on with me, guys. This is, yeah, they're doing a Death to America chants. Oh, what I hate it is when they make it so hard to figure, the name of the group we're talking about here. Top, waiting for a signal to attack. Well, that ain't the big news. Okay. There's some group they're talking about here, but here's the big news. I think this is it. Hopefully. Yeah. Yes, that's the one I was hunting for. Up to 1,000 Iranian sleeper agents are in Canada. So they're up in Canada hiding out. And apparently, when they get the signal, the idea is they may be coming into the United States. So this must be where most of the Iranian sleeper cell agents are located, in Canada, out of our reach, out of our scrutiny. And Canada's been very relaxed in letting people like this into their country. And they're claiming this as a huge problem. Canadian Liberal government isn't doing nearly enough to address the problem, Michelle Rempel Gardner, a member of the opposition and shadow minister of immigration, told the Post. She's an opposition member in Canadian government, saying that, hey, Iran and the Iranians are here in droves and our government's not doing anything about it. So there you go. It's coming from a Canadian. This isn't American intel. So that's something to be worried about, my friends. And we're talking about power grid and other critical infrastructure in the United States that they may be targeting. That's what the article talked about. So, yeah, this is talking about various aspects of a ceasefire. I'm not going to go through that because we've already talked it to some degree. And this article here claims Iran may make some nuclear concessions, but will not surrender. What kind of nuclear concessions? Look at that woman. Look at this picture. That's funny. Yeah, we'll have to go fast here. Reveal Trump finally says who's negotiating with. Well, that's that prime minister, which he was bragging on earlier. So no surprise there. Mohammed Bagher Garbaf, however you say his name, same guy. He was bragging on earlier, saying if he wanted somebody to be prime minister, I meant the leader of Iran, it'd be him. Mainly because apparently he's negotiating with him. Yeah, so yeah, Iran responds to Trump's ultimatum of bombing his tanker and Kuwaiti port, a Kuwaiti tanker. And apparently they hit it real hard, caught on fire. It's not sunk, but it did catch fire. So, and Mr. Abbas Araghchi, the foreign minister of Iran, is calling on the Saudis to eject U.S. forces from Saudi Arabia. Isn't that lovely? Earthquakes. We're through the news, guys. The main part, I'm going to hit the earthquake. Look at the earthquakes. Shaggy, are you feeling any of this? Mag Rise, and you feeling this? Look here. The Aleutians all the way up into interior Alaska, from the tip of the Aleutians. Alaska is shaking. That is Salka, Alaska. This is probably around Denali. No. Susitna. But look at the Aleutians. They are just shaking hard everywhere. All up and down the Aleutian Island chain, guys. Puerto Ricans are dancing hard. And we got a big earthquake over down here. If I click this one. Whoops, hang on. 7.3 in Vanuatu, however you say that. That place is popping. There's always a lot of earthquakes all in this area here. Japan's got a little one, 4.4. Philippines got something going on down here. Yow, come on, it won't click. My clicker ain't working. My computer is dying. Why did it not highlight it? I've been clicking on it a dozen times. Oh well. Yeah. So we got Indonesia, Papua New Guinea. Yeah, all over the place, guys. And we got something over here in East Texas. That's odd. Gonzales. We always get earthquakes here, something on the San Andres, here at the vertex of the Juan de Fuca plate, and Petrolia, California. Guys, a lot of shaking going on. Just look at the Aleutian Islands. We got one in Hawaii. So let's do the space weather real quick. Yeah, still got battery. Okay, good. Lee Wilbar claimed he was a special ops. He can't even get a military ID. Southern valor, huh? Special ops. He wasn't military. He was always a consultant. Lee Wilbarger was never in the military. He was always a consultant, DOD guy, a civil servant maybe, or a private contractor working for the civil service, which is how that was why I was involved with NASA. I was a private contractor. I think that's how he was. I think he was just a private contractor supporting DOD. No, he might have supported special ops, but to claim he is special ops, that's a bit of a stretch. It's not the same. It's not the same. So I don't know, guys. Funny stuff. Well, we got an active sunspot here that 4405 that's bleed is probably kicking out. We got a few others growing up here, 4401. So we believe we may have a G3 class flare, geomatic storm, not flare, coming at us. And yeah, they're going to have to watch launching the Artemis 2 moon rocket because you can't launch it if you got too big a solar storm going on. That may inhibit it. It's supposed to launch on April Fool's Day, of all things. Might not be a good move. Now, asteroids, the only one that's coming near us and that we know about, there's always a ton of them we hadn't seen until after the zip by us, right? But there's this one, which is 20 meters. That's a pretty good size asteroid that's coming by on the 14th of April. So there we go for that. That's the asteroid forecast. That looks like somebody's head there, doesn't it? Demon head. All right, I want to stop the share. I'm checking my battery up there, and I'm going to try to get through the chat real fast. I'm going to try to read it on here because I can read it faster that way. Now I'm not showing screens. And hopefully the battery will last. If it stops, y'all tell me in the chat. All righty, so Alaska, my horizons, Lewis Souch. I'm just going to go through this real fast tonight. Nicholas, how you doing? Batman. How much they're not freaking telling us. There's a lot they're not telling us. We don't know how much damage our bases got. And that event that took out was 12 Americans. Apparently, they injured hundreds. That was apparently a lot worse than they told us. Yeah, I'm reading, guys, hundreds of articles. I'm just trying to piece it all together in my mind. Uh, Americans fair, but as Americans, should we be involved? Asked Batman. Uh, Iran's always called us the Great Satan. They've been unhappy because the CIA went in and deposed. Hello, Colorado Jen. How you doing? Colorado Jen sends me a super chat in the mail once a month. So salute to her. Anyway, so um, I did a video called "Was the War Inevitable?" And you need to watch that because if it wasn't it, if you are absolutely, if you know you're going to be in a war because somebody intends to attack you in some fashion eventually, then it behooves you to fight them on your terms and not theirs. And they were building missiles so fast that we were on a slippery slope and not being able to do it. We were probably already on the other side of that slope, but if more time would have made it worse. So I don't know, guys. I'm not here to judge that per se. You're broke, Shaggy. Oh, wow. Well, thank you, Shaggy, for being so generous when you're broke. Appreciate you. Uh, I live mostly that way. Okay. Mag Rising. We got two broke Alaskans in the house tonight. Samuel C., 1776. How you doing? Uh, I'm trying to get through these. All right. Halo mods and all, I'm okay. Good to hear that, Jan. I quit Ritter a long time ago, says Meg Rising. Ritter is bad news. He's an ex-predator. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, that guy, he it was convicted child predator, sex predator or something. He was convicted, and people still pull him in on their channels. Give me the heebie-jeebies. Talking to the old man this morning, letting him know troops from 82nd is going to Iran. He said, "Dear God, help them. My dad was a ranger in 25th Infantry." Yep, I almost got sent with the 82nd to Iran back in, uh, I think back in 1980. Sure enough, during that failed hostage rescue mission. What a fiasco. Going back through the chat room the other way. I still got a little bit of battery, not much. Yeah, it's my receiver that's dead. Almost, I need two receivers. So I'm on the other man. All right, guys. All right, I'm gonna because I know the battery's about to go. We're going to jump into the egg guess. We have already been on for 60 minutes here. You know, it's not good to be much over an hour because the coffee club guys don't often realize I cover news first. And speaking of coffee club, I'm gonna have a sip of coffee before I finish this up. That's true, Jerry Gamble. That's true. So I don't listen to him anymore. Back when he was first talking about what Iraq had or didn't have during the first Gulf War, he was pretty spot on. But these days, he seems like he's just off his rocker sometimes. He's got an agenda or something, maybe an axe to grind, and I think it colors his geopolitical analysis, colors it real badly. So I don't think he's a good geopolitical analyst anymore. He used to be, but I don't think he was a weapons negotiator at one time. He's not in the middle. He don't do that anymore. So you know how the intel he used to have, because he got busted. He's a sicko. I don't listen to him. Anyway, all right, folks. Guess how many eggs did I get from my hens today? How many eggs I harvest in my hens? We're wrapping up. How many eggs did I get today? And frankly, I don't listen to anybody that listens to him. Quite frankly, how many eggs we get today, guys, girls? Keep guessing. Keep guessing. Keep guessing. Four. Four. Debbie, you got it. Debbie. Debbie Rush. I hope I'm saying your name right. Debbie got it. Four. But Debbie's throwing out a lot of guesses real fast. Four eggs. All right, quick guess. I had 10 yesterday, but my hens have slacked off a lot recently for some reason, but they give me 10 yesterday. Oh, Samuel, you're getting ahead. No, I like to do my Easter egg guess separate. Because it'd be hard because you got to get both numbers right if you're going to guess two numbers. So anyway, all right. I'm not saying you're wrong, Samuel. I'm not saying you're wrong on the Easter eggs. How many Easter eggs I get? How many Easter eggs I get? Now, so that's why I do them separate, unlike uh, our good friend, uh, Prepper Nurse One, Ed. He does them both at once, but he's got so many people in his chat room that it's easier to have everybody guess two things at one time. So that you have to get both right to win on that accord. How many Easter eggs I get, guys? Well, yeah, that's it, Debbie. Well, actually, Samuel did get it first, but he didn't get the first part. Yeah, I got two Easter eggs. Two Easter eggs. I got four eggs total, and two. That's the two Easter eggs, and this is two Dominicker eggs here. See how brown they are? I only have four eggs today. Only four, but half of them are Easter eggs. Easter egg or eggs? Sorry, guys and girls. So let me see if anybody toss me a donation through my website. before we go. Ding, ding, ding. Nope, not tonight. All right. So, I did do a video earlier today. Let's do this real quick. I want to just kind of hit my channel here. Bill Barger cussed me out because my intel on Helene, North Carolina was better than his. Yeah, well, yeah, if he's got an ego, guys, he's got an ego. What can you say? I'm not here to. He and I had a falling out, but I just let bygones be bygones. I'm not here to uh, try to drag anybody through the mud, but yeah, Debbie, that's it, 4-2. But I don't combine them, guys. Ed does that because he's got so many more people watching his. He'll have 300 or 400 people watching at one time. We got 94 in the house, so it's easier to get the right combination guess. If I was waiting on the combination guess, it would be all night. All righty, so yeah, take the time. We just got to go. Um, let's see here. I'm going to show you something here. Give me a. Oh, come on, scroll, would you? My keypad is dead. Almost. All right, you know what? I'm gonna just share this right now. Ding, 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 ding. If you don't know, I put a video on my Swivelhead News channel today, guys. I actually did a live session. This is my second live session today, so my battery is dying. I did a Swivelhead News video. All right, so you come into my channel. Sometimes you see random videos up front. There's my Chinese super soldiers. All right. This is the one I did today. Food prices locked in. Not had a lot of views, just about 1,000 views. So you might want to watch that and a couple other videos here didn't get a lot of views. Was the big picture, and it was talking about Iran. And bigger than Iran is China next. This is really about China. China's rolling all this. And the one, if you hadn't watched this one, China's attack to you, you really need to watch this because it's about China is got a bioweapons programs that directly threaten everybody. You really need to pay attention to that. So I would say watch these videos. This also talks about, guys, if you're not prepping for a food price increase, you're liable to be in a lot of trouble real fast. You need to get ready for it. And that's one reason you really need to watch this video. It paints the dire nature of what we may be facing in food prices. So I highly recommend that. Uh, anyway, so there we are. And check out my Silverhead News video. You know what? I don't even have to change channels. I just got to go to my. If you go to the post tab on my channel, I did post a link to my Silverhead News video. It didn't put a thumbnail on here. Why is that? Read more. Click it there. That'll take you to my Silverhead video we went live on today. Arr. Come on. I was talking about the No Kings event going violent, and we're going to get more of that. And I was also talking about the upcoming May Day strike they're trying to put out there. So you might want to check this video out too. This is on my Silverhead News channel. If you've not ever seen my Silverhead News channel, I got some funny shorts in there where I basically do poetry or parody songs and it's always political in nature. So check these out. You might get a kick out of some of these. They're meant to be funny, you know. That's what I did. Funny parody, political parody, and song and poetry that I've done. So check those out too. Paul, the yoke is lighter than the burden. Okay, guys. Enough said of that. Am I still sharing? Or was I even sharing that? I don't know. You might not have saw it. I don't think I was sharing. Let's hit that share button again. What happened? Yeah. This is my Swivelhead News channel. And this is at No Kings Got Violent. So check that out. If you go to the post portion of this channel, Green Riggs channel, it'll have a link to this video. All right, enough said of that. All right, guys. Enough said of all that stuff. Thank God I'm in Alaska. We have plenty of animals here in the wild. Very true. Uh, my last duty station was Fort Greely. It's a beautiful area, but I probably wouldn't want to be living near there if we have a nuclear war, because that'll probably be a target because it's got the missile interceptors there. And it's a terrible thing they put them in such a beautiful location. So I got love, but it is ox in a ditch. I ain't helping. Oh, all right, Paula. So, Paul says, the yoke is light on the burden, says Shaggy. Okay. Well, thank you, Kim. Appreciate the love. Uh, all righty, folks. We're going to call it a night. Thank you, Shaggy, for the super chat. I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you, mods, for keeping the channel clean and straight. And folks, just make sure to comment on the video after I post it. I'm gonna have to post some things to it, all the little notes and stuff like that. So comment to it. That helps with the algorithms that have no rhythm. And desperately need that on this channel. This channel is stumping me. Thank you, Paula. Paula Nitz. Thank you. Hugs to you too. All righty, folks. So yeah, we gotta share the love. Love is the answer, folks. Uh Especially, we got to overcome our warlike tendencies one day, or we're going to cease to exist with the technologies at our fingertips. We got to find a way to get rid of all the hatred. But anyway, but you got to defend yourself. And right now, there's people who want to take us out, and we can't let them do it. Chinese apparently top at that list. So, my friends, again, thank you all for watching. To one and all, a good night. And Granny Nana passed away just on the 17th of March last year. She was a avid follower of the channel. And I used to always say ho, ho, ho to end my videos because I did at Christmas. And she'd always end with I believe after I said that. And I always thought that was sweet. So I made it a point just to say that from then on. I kept saying ho, 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 just for her. But when she passed away, in honor of her, I just kept it up. It's just a little green Greg's. It's my tradition on my channels, at least the ones that she used to watch. If I start new channels, I may not do that, but on them. But she was a soul. We used to pray for some of our people sometimes. She had severe health problems. She had always wants to pay for her granddaughter, Kaylee, and not her. She adopted a bunch of kids who had a lot of troubles in their lives, and she took care of them. She was a good soul. Thank you for all the info on Vince, Greg. Even the things we disagree on, now we don't have to agree on everything. Enjoy your content, Master. Well, thank you, Cosmic Tripper. I don't ask you to agree with everything I say. Think for yourself. If you're not thinking for yourself, there's something wrong. Unlike somebody else that was named in here tonight, another channel, if you don't agree with him, he just, terminate you like Dr. Evil, with his staff sitting around this table. He'll hit the button and you'll go down in the pit below in flames. Whoosh. No, I don't do that. I don't play that game. I believe in freedom of speech, freedom of thought. And so I don't require you to agree with me. But I'm glad you listened to me. Appreciate that. Absolutely appreciate that. Now, we got a couple of people here that tend to disagree with me more than not. But, hey, I'm glad they watch, At least they're getting exposed to another line of thinking than what they get from the mainstream news media. So yeah, I got a couple of really liberal ladies that listen to me avidly, and they come in. Maybe they just listen to me to argue with me. I don't know. That's fine. Hey, the discourse is important. That's what we need in this world. We need to talk things out. And if you don't want to talk things out, then you're shut out. We'll never reach a equilibrium. So that's important, guys. Anyway, so I appreciate you all. Gotta find church. Okay. All righty, folks. So again, Samuel, how you doing? We're missing a few people not. Lee is MSM Incorporated. I always think it's interesting when he shows his open, there's always this big CIA picture of the Florida CIA building in Langley, Virginia. Interesting. But anyway, all right. So yeah, we haven't seen Samuel Turner in a long time. So Samuel, 1776, you wouldn't be Samuel Turner, would you? Miss San Matern, I'm worried about him. Hope he's okay. It's been a few months since he's been in uh, the house here. We haven't seen Arnold Schmidt in a while. Hope he's okay. We got Drops in here late, kind of late, isn't it? Yes, Drops, we're wrapping up. Well, Drops, you got a bunch of handles. All right. So we're wrapping up. We're finishing. I'm wrapping it up right now. Catch it on the rewind. So, yeah, if you come in late, you can always catch it on rewind. We're 74 minutes. I need to go. Anyway, again, thank you, Shaggy, for the super chat. And I want everybody to keep your eyes wide open, head on swivel. Stuff is getting crazy. Again, thank you, mods. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And to one and all, a good night, good day, wherever you are. Ho, ho, ho.